You ever just need a good cry? Hey guys, what's up? It's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here today. I put out new videos every Tuesday and Friday. I do a lot of book content. Woohoo! I also do some lifestyle and travel content, beauty. I just try to do it all, you know? I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I live in Brooklyn. Let's just get into this video. As I said, I'm an actor, so I like to cry. I like to feel my feelings. I like to emote. I like to get so into a story that like I am convulsing with tears. I feel accomplished after I cry reading a book. I don't know what's going on with that, but it feels good to cry, okay? It feels good to cry, and it feels good to cry about something that isn't personal. It's nice to let go of that and to not be personally upset by something, which is why I love reading books that make me cry. I'm not gonna lie, I cry a lot when I read in books that the average person probably wouldn't even blink their eye at. So I'm really gonna share with you like the books that made me like ugly cry when I read them. I have 10 books here, and I think we should just like not waste any more time. I think we should just get into it. Here's my smoothie. Okay, I'm gonna start off with two biographies slash memoirs that made me cry. These two books are featured in my latest video, which is a biography video, which you can go check out if you want to have more biography recommendations. This first book I mentioned in a lot of videos. It's the Judy biography. This woman just had such an incredible life. The ups and downs and highs and lows are just so much. I wept at a lot of different points in this book, most notably when Liza Minnelli describes going to Judy Garland's funeral. That was a lot. She was just such a big person that to this day like has affected so many people so deeply. Just like her presence is emotional to me, and the fact that she existed is emotional to me. I've been to her grave. I love this woman so much. This book really made me cry. I don't know if it would make anybody else cry, but it certainly made me cry. Another book is In Pieces by Sally Field. She's just such a survivor. As in Judy, like you get a lot of like showbiz antics in both of these books, but you also get equal like family dynamics, like really messed up family dynamics, and like what that looks like, how that manifested, and how she overcame and survived like so much of that. Yeah, just especially like the end of this book and her coming to terms with herself and being at peace with herself. Get the f out of here, you stupid fly. It was just very emotional, and it was beautifully written. I saw her on Broadway in The Glass Menagerie. She's amazing. She's an amazing actor, and I look up to her as an actor, and now I look up to her as a person. The next category is Colleen Hoover. I have 4 books for you to make you cry. Yes, she has her own category. I think I've cried in every Colleen Hoover book I've read, but these are the 4 books that I can guarantee you will cry and that I like ugly cried severely in. The first is Ugly Love. Ugly Love is a polarizing book because it's about this young woman who is kind of falling for this guy, but he is not emotionally available and he wants more of like a friends with benefits situation. She obviously doesn't want that, and she just kind of like takes it for what it is because she really loves him and like doesn't want to like stop being with him. It's a very like relatable trope. I think this has happened to many people in life, especially today. And a lot of people are like, I don't like this book because she should leave. And it's like, yes, that's not what happens in life. And like Colleen Hoover writes books about complex people and characters that are like real. Like she doesn't write utopian characters. And I think it really highlights the struggle of both this young woman that she goes through and also what's going on with this emotionally unavailable guy. I think oftentimes when we talk about this trope, we don't talk about like what's wrong with the guy. Like it's not just like, I mean, some guys are just assholes and like they're cocksure and like they just don't care about anyone. But in this case, it's like a very different story, and he comes from kind of a traumatic background. And that's the part that made me cry. I definitely recommend giving it a read, even if people have said don't read it. I think it's just important to read polarizing books so that you can make your own opinion about them. A lot of people, it's like their favorite Colleen Hoover book, and a lot of people just don't like it because they probably have been in a similar situation and it didn't end well. The next is All Your Perfects. Basically about this couple, and it goes back and forth timeline-wise when they first met, like the first, I don't know, like year or so of them dating, and then where they are now, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years later, and they're married, and they're having troubles. She is, I don't know if I'm supposed to say, I don't want to give much away. They're having, you know, very, like, adult troubles, now that they've been together for a while. And it just goes back and forth between those timelines, and the end, like it's just so sweet. I also just wasn't expecting to cry. A lot of people, this is not their favorite Colleen Hoover book. It's not like they don't like it, but it's just like not their favorite Colleen Hoover book. This is one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books. I think it is just one of like the sweetest books I've ever read. I also read it around the time of my anniversary, and I was like next to my boyfriend when I read it, and I was just like weeping. It was so beautiful. I loved it. The next one is Reminders of Him, which I will insert a photo of me here, ugly crying. I definitely wept in this one. It's about this girl who is getting out of jail. She's been in jail for 5 years, and she is trying desperately to reconnect with her daughter, who she does not have custody of. The way Colleen Hoover writes these characters, like thoughts and feelings and dreams and hopes, and like it really is so emotional. The end of this book just absolutely sent to me. Her relationships as she gets out of prison and tries to reconnect. It's so emotional. It's so good. I want to play this character so badly. Cast me. Next is It Ends With Us. Obviously, Kendall Jenner read it, so we all read it. This one is about this girl who meets this guy on the roof after he has like an absolute meltdown with himself. Yeah, it's just about their relationship, I guess, is the best way to say it. And it goes back and forth between two timelines of that present day thing going on dynamic, and also when she was a teenager and she basically like befriended this homeless boy. There are connections between the two timelines. I really like that when Colleen Hoover does that. I think she's done that a few times where it's like going back and forth between two different time periods. Also in All Your Perfects, she does that. It's a lot. It's very emotional. But yeah, whew, if you want to cry. I would say probably out of all of those four, I probably cried the most. I definitely cried the most when I read Reminders of Him. Next we have three, I'm calling them oldie but goodies. Not that old. Like they were written in the 2000s. They're like a little old. First is A Walk to Remember, Nicholas Sparks. Wow, yeah, I remember reading this a long time ago. I was in my bedroom when my mom came in and I was just like weeping. She was like, what's wrong, what happened? I'm just like it was just so much. If you like really want to feel something, read this. It's about, set in a small town during the 1950s, A Walk to Remember is the story of an only son of a wealthy family that finds true love with the most unexpected person. The daughter of a minister meets the only son, and the story takes us through hard times, love, and bittersweet passion. Yeah, that's one way to describe it, I guess. If you're just looking for an absolutely like rip my heart out of my soul romance, like it's Nicholas Sparks. It's like, have you seen The Notebook? You're gonna feel kind of like that, but like honestly worse. Next is another Nicholas Sparks, which is The Last Song. Even just thinking about this book, I'm gonna start crying. I'm fine. I literally just googled The Last Song and it triggered my tear ducts. Unruly New York teen Ronnie Miller is angered to learn that she and younger brother Jonah are being sent to stay with their father for the summer. The talented young pianist is already grappling with her mother over her refusal to attend the prestigious Juilliard music school and is in no mood to spend the holidays away from her friends in a small southern beach town. Also, Movie with Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth and Greg Kinnear. Oh my god, Greg Kinnear. What a dream. He's great. With BookTok and Bookstagram and all of this stuff, like I think that a lot of these books, these early 2000s, 2010s even books, are kind of getting left behind a little bit. So if you're maybe more like Gen Z, maybe you're in college now, maybe you're in high school now even, like you've got to read these books. Like The Last Song, that book absolutely ran over by a truck. Awful, amazing, just absolutely. Oh, and Kelly Preston's in it, and I think she's since passed away. I'm kind of depressed now, honestly. It's really like the Nicholas Sparks, he really does it to you. The end of The Last Song is it's giving Beaches, but like kind of worse. So yeah, it was a good book. Excuse me. This is my last oldie but goodie. This specific book had a movie that did not have the same ending as the book in like a huge way, and it was disappointing. The movie was good, the people in it were good, but it was just like, That's My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. This was published in 2004. My voice just cracked. The emotionally riveting story of a family torn apart by conflicting needs and a passionate love that triumphs over human weakness. Anna is not sick, but she might as well be. By age 13, she has undergone countless surgeries, transfusions, and shots so that her older sister Kate can somehow fight the leukemia that has plagued her since childhood. The product of pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, Anna was conceived as a bone marrow match for Kate, a life and a role that she has never challenged until now. Like most teenagers, Anna is beginning to question who she truly is, but unlike most teenagers, she has always been defined, I have chills, always been defined in terms of her sister, and so Anna makes a decision that for most would be unthinkable, a decision that will tear her family apart and have perhaps fatal consequences for the sister she loves. We're in an emotional place to begin with. As I said, the movie just has a completely different ending. Like, I remember my mom and I both read this book, and then we went to see it in the theater, and we were like, what? Like, I would say the end to this book is so beautifully, perfectly tragic. The end of the movie was just like, not. And that's all I'll say. Okay, and then my last two are fantasy books that are part of a series, so you can't just read them standalone. You'll have to like read through. They're coincidentally both the 5th book in Sarah J. Maas series. I'm currently reading, like, my voice is still cracking, I'm so emo. I'm currently reading the Throne of Glass series, and I am on the tandem read of Empire of Storms, which I hear is like, that would probably make it onto this list, honestly, but I just haven't gotten to the emo part of it yet, and then Tower of Dawn. But I will say, Queen of Shadows, the end of it felt like the Battle of Hogwarts, which is just like a very like emotional, we've been with these characters for a while now, they're all coming together for the greater good, and it's just like emotional. I cried a lot at the end of this book in the same way that I cried when I read The Battle of Hogwarts. I love this book. This was the first book in the series I gave 5 stars. I have a feeling I will give Empire of Storms and probably Kingdom of Ash, which is 1,000 pages, 5 stars as well, but we'll see. Haven't gotten there yet. And then of course, perhaps my favorite book and character of all time, Court of Silver Flames, Nesta Archeron, You Will Always Be Famous. This is also the 5th book of the ACOTAR series. It is the first book told from Nesta's perspective. The first 4 are told from Feyre's perspective. And this book is so beautiful because I feel like even like Selena Sardothian and Feyre, who are the 2 protagonists, the main protagonists of this book, of this series, and then the protagonists of the Throne of Glass series, they find themselves in compromising and complex positions, but I think their moral compasses as characters are very like clear. It's very much like, this is what we have to do for the greater good, and it's very clear. With Nesta, it's very much like you get her backstory, why she is the way she is. You get all the mistakes that she's made. She has acted selfishly, like she has not made the best decisions. She has made a lot of mistakes that probably like characters like Feyre and Selena Sardothian like would not make. And it's about her journey through working through that truth about herself, taking responsibility for it essentially, and moving on and healing and gathering courage and just knowing that like it's not too late to do the right thing, basically. I cried a lot in this, but the end was just very powerful. Like the arc of this book is so powerful. I can't even like, again, like I have a whole campaign to play this part. If you're looking for an insane character arc, this is the book, but you have to read the first 4 first. Which also made me cry, but not as much as like, oh my god. I have a reading vlog for this book. If you read it and you want to see me cry, it's on here. It's online, it's on my channel, easy access. Those are the 10 books that made me ugly cry. And you could ugly cry too. Wow, that was, honestly, that video was like, that was emotionally taxing for me to talk about all those books. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay tuned for some exciting stuff next week. I have some very exciting things I'm doing this weekend and next week, and I'm excited to share them with you. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.